Good morning, children. This is Shival sir speaking. Children, in the previous classes, we had a discussion on basic concepts of percentage and all that. So, as we have done few questions of exercise 8.2 till 8.2, we have done many questions, and today we are going to discuss about exercise 8.3. Before we start this particular exercise, we'll have a discussion on the basic concepts of simple interest and compound interest. Children, if we move back to class 7, in class 7 we had a chapter of comparing quantities in which we have discussed about simple interest. What is simple interest? How simple interest works actually. So simple interest is all about in dealing with for a loan in which taken for a certain time. That might be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Mostly we have dealt with the time in which it was all about in complete time. Like I mean to say, like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Like a complete time was given. No fractional time had been mentioned in this. So that was the speciality of simple interest, in which the formula we used to use. The formula was a formula of simple interest. Only in order to find the simple interest is equal to principal into rate of interest into time by 100. So P for principal, the amount which has been taken from the bank as a loan, or whatever this amount is about, that is the principal amount, the amount taken. R for rate of interest. Rate of interest means the percentage. On which percent the amount has been given as loan. That might be to 5%, 10%, depends on the money lender actually. So this is the rate of interest, means it will be always be in percentage. That might be 5%, means whenever we purchase any items in form of loan, the first things we confirm that what are the percentage of interest. In case of educational loan, in case of purchasing of any goods, like vehicles, cars, or when we take any personal loans and all that. So these things all comes in percentage actually. So these are rate of interest. Time for T means time. Time means for a certain time, for which time I have for the tenure actually. We could say for the time we have taken the loan for. That could be 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and divided by 100. 100 has come from the formula. So this is the process by which we can find the simple interest. Principal into rate of interest into time divided by 100. So if you calculate, we will get simple interest. We will get the interest amount. How much amount we have to pay extra. If I have taken, suppose, the loan for 5,000, loan of 5,000 amount, rupees 5,000. So after completion of 3 years, 4 years, for the time period I have taken the loan, how much amount to be paid extra. So that extra amount is a simple interest. And if we add the principal amount and the simple interest, we are supposed to get the the amount to be paid. Finally, the amount to be paid, that we will manage, that we will get. So this is how we find a simple interest actually. Compound interest is slightly different than that. How simple interest is different from compound interest? There are some certain logics. Compound interest means it works on a cycle. It works on a cycle. For an example, let me clear my word actually. Suppose I have taken a loan for rupees 18,000. It's an amount. I took loan for 3 years at 12.5 years of rate of interest per year. I'm repeating my word once again. Suppose I took a loan of rupees 18,000. 18,000 is a principal amount I have borrowed from bank for 3 years of time. Means the timing I've taken the loan for, that is 3,000 at 12.5% rate of interest, and that we have to calculate compounded annually. Means it will be calculated annually. So in that case, when we are talking about the principal amount, that is 18,000. So let me write the things first. Principal amount is 18,000. Rate of interest is 12.5%. Time is 3 years. 3 years. And we have to calculate compounded annually. Children, one thing before I explain this. Compound interest means we have to calculate the things in a way. Suppose I took a loan, that will be calculated for 1 year. Obviously some amount to be paid if I calculate for 1 year. Again that amount with the interest will be calculated again. Children, it's a little bit confusing. We have to understand, we have to take time for this. Simple interest is directly we are calculating for 3 years, for 5 years, whatever. We are directly calculating for that time. That is simple interest, in case of simple interest. But in case of compound interest, when we're talking about compound interest, it actually works in this way that time is given, that is suppose 3 years. 1 year, for first 1 year, how much amount will be there, how much amount to be paid. That amount and interest amount will be added. Again, it will move for second year. On that basis, for second year, amount and simple interest again will be added. Again, it will be moving for third year. Means simply we can understand, in case of compound interest, we are actually paying more. We are actually paying more than simple interest. If time, amount, rate of interest is fixed for simple interest and compound interest, in case of compound interest, we are actually paying more than simple interest. We are paying more than simple interest in case of compound interest. Am I understandable, children? So here, in case of compound interest, suppose I have to find how much compound amount to be paid finally after 3 years for this particular question, in which principal is 18,000, rate of interest is 12.5%, time is 3 years. Children, there is a formula for compounded annually. Children, compounded annually, compounded half-yearly, there are some certain conditions. I am discussing about the amount to be found for 3 years. Rate of interest is 12.5%, and which will be calculated compounded annually. Compounded annually. That is what we have to find right now. Let's go ahead. Amount is equal to principal plus 1 by